Hello and welcome to this Assassin's Creed Shadows video. This is actually directed to the developers. I'm doing some feedback here. I want to dive deep down a rabbit hole into my experience and what I think could help the game for the future. These are going to be like quality of life fixes. Then I'll drop some other things after that when we get into it. But a lot of quality of life stuff. Just so you guys can see here, I have 187 hours on this game. I've been playing it a couple weeks before release, and it's officially release day when I'm making this video. So yeah, let's do it. Everything I'm talking about isn't a bug or a glitch. Of course, we all want any of those type of things fixed, but today we're going to talk about quality of life, things that the developers can do that's going to enhance the game overall. We're going to watch the tournament mode, which I'll talk about later. There's something that I want to say, but we're going to get into the first thing. I think it's an important and easy one, and something that was in the previous games that we loved. One thing that's amazing is even though Assassin's Creed was open world, it always allowed us to actually have replay missions. So you were able to go into the menu and switch and pick a mission that you wanted to do. Being that this game has like very cool stealth areas, amazing stuff, it should be that you can reactivate it. And I think that that's an important feature because all of these missions I basically don't have a new game plus, which they said they're going to work on, and that there isn't any way to replay the mission while I wait for the new game plus, or just some amazing missions. There's a mission where you have to rescue someone or they might die. There's missions where just very cool scenarios and you want to replay that and you basically cannot. Having to restart a whole save just to do that. On top of that, you only get 20 saves, and I ran out of saves not even halfway through because there was a lot of cool missions I wanted to redo, and I saved them as a way to kind of combat the no replayable missions. And I ran out quick. I had to delete half, sacrifice some very cool stuff just to be able to save other things later. And so this is something that they have to do, and it would be a big update as far as making it possible. And I want to kind of showcase some of my idea and what I really like in this game. We are going to spoil a little bit of the objectives. And the way I would do this is if there's a scenario with a specific character, I can reset this. It'll tell me that it'll reset other things. So this is a big project for them to do, but that would allow me to replay specific things that I thought was very cool. For example, let's say there was a target with the twisted trees. This was kind of early on, so it's not that much of a spoiler, but I needed to go get one of them. I wanted to redo it. Guess what? You can spare some enemies. Maybe I wanted to spare more enemies and do something like that. And I can just hit that replay, but it'll tell me there's other areas that it might affect, which is fine. And it resets me to that point for the mission. And then I can come back, just like the old Assassin's Creed games, come back to the way I have it, where I clean the board up, pretty much almost done. But I got to relive that area for a while. And then if I wanted to continue from there, I can. This is important because there's amazing missions in this game, and it's something that I believe the devs need to work on. And I think the players who love the game will end up absolutely wanting this full time to be able to make the best of it, of course. And that is key. We're going to stay right here and we're going to talk about a lot of things in here. If you're playing through this game and you're watching this video, a little bit of a little heads up. The game has a cool navigation system. I actually am going to defend it before I talk about feedback. I love this navigation system. It kind of reminds me of Death Stranding in a way, because you cannot get up to this mountaintop right here. You would have to go all the way around just to get to where you have to go. And in Death Stranding, that became like a puzzle. You can try to go straight through, but it's going to be a very hard time. And in this game, they have that kind of system where you're going to have a hard time going up the mountains. You can try to take the horse, but the horse might be janky, or you can't climb up that area. So it's a little bit tricky. And I'm not going to complain about that necessarily, but that is an issue. The bigger issue within that is not that you can't navigate easily. It's that the system for the game, which is very cool. It tells you there's a target on the top northeast. So you look at the top northeast, you have to use your scouts, or you can head over there and try to find them by yourself, which makes it more organic and more immersive, in my opinion. And that's what you want out of video games, don't we? But the problem here is, after hours and hours, I would have to go to the menu. After I would do one quick mission, let's just say I'm in the open world and I talk with somebody and they tell me to go do something. I head over here, I do it. It's only one part of the mission. Now I have to go into the objective. And it gets tedious where I'm going into the objective, I'm clicking on the mission that they want me to do. Now I see where it is on the map. I have to go to the map, find it in the map, mark it, and then leave after that. This is a problem. So the first issue is there's no way for me to go straight into the objective board, and you're in and out of the objective board nonstop. It doesn't have a fluid like, hey, we're gonna keep you on the mission that you selected and just let you continue it all the way through until you finish the whole thing. Basically makes you go into the objective. Look, I have to hit the menu map first. They can put a button in here to let you go to the objective instead. So you see this Pathfinder thing. I don't mind it. I love the idea. And I'm in a quick example of the Pathfinder. When I hit the left stick, the D-pad to the left on the PlayStation, I'm able to follow this. Well, I want to turn that off, and I want to put objectives so that I can open the map without having to go to the menu first just to get to the objective. And this is a big deal, in my opinion. If quality of life is going to make life easier, we can get straight to the objective. Secondly, when I do hit the objective, it should automatically take me to that location. As far as I can press another button while I'm here. If I hit triangle, it'll take me to where it is on the map. I can't do that. I have to go into the map, zoom out, find where that location is, and then go from there. And this is not something that's convenient. It's very tedious after 100+ hours of the game. So this is something that devs can do. Many other games have done it, and even Ubisoft games have done it, where you can just fast travel to that specific point. It's a quality of life feature, but it's huge and it's gonna help big time. All right, this is very important in my opinion. And again, as I said, the quest will continue and not make me have to come back here and just keep going. If not, go straight into the main menu. And here's another idea is, you know what? Once I finish one menu, one of those side missions, I can right now say this is my second priority. I have one objective I marked and I have a second one, and it'll automatically keep me in the open world with my objectives on the side of my character, which you can see on the top left, making my life a lot easier to just continue to navigate through the world and not have to stop and go into the map, go into objectives, click an objective, go back to the world, fast travel over there, and go through the process that is actually extremely inconvenient. And that's something that they need to work on. And I want to kind of just showcase something else. And this is another thing that many other games have done. When you fast travel to a location like a safe house, you automatically refresh all of your resources. This should be a mechanic that exists in this game. You're gonna fast travel no matter what. There's no way somebody's gonna just travel through every area without once fast traveling. For example, right now I'm full because I just grabbed it, but that should just refill when I get in here. Now I'm getting out of here and I'm good to go. That's a feature that doesn't exist in this game that should exist, and that I think is important. Now we're gonna get into another feature that is about the loadouts. I love this system. We only have 4. I think that's cool. I would love more, of course. I already have like 15 builds for each of these different play styles. But the point is, this is an amazing feature and I love that. The issue is skills. Now I'm already almost maxing out all of my skills. As you can see, the bottoms are maxed out and 2 of the weapons. So I'm almost there. I shouldn't have to do this, and I'm doing it out of convenience because I would prefer to put some of my points into this secret area. And what I'm asking for is that my loadouts, let's say I have a stealth loadout, And with that stealth loadout, I like to use the Tanto. Guess what? The loadout saves my skills, aka the masteries, as well. So the moment that I go to switch the loadout, I can switch to mastery as well. This is a small feature that might take some time for them to figure that out, but I would think they would have done that because it makes life a lot easier overall. And this is just some of the situations that I personally want to see in this game when it comes to my experience, things that I absolutely feel could be great. Now, I did make multiple videos talking about tournaments, and this is just a general personal want. In these tournaments, all you have to do is ring a bell, and then you'll fight a mini boss in this game. I was requesting on 2 videos that I put out that we get a PvP version of this where players can actually just load up against each other. And this game doesn't need to have a big PvP mode, but this one mode where you just go against another player with your build can actually keep the game alive and have some real fun elements into it. And I think could be a blast for everybody who is like me, is making all these different builds to test them against other players and test your skills. This combat is pretty fun. I think it could be very interesting, and I absolutely love it. Now, I do want to talk about a couple of other things that aren't just an idea, to kind of share some of my perspectives. So in here, as you can see, when it comes to Nawe, she has 3 skills. 3 actual weapons. Really cool, but she doesn't have enough. I feel like for the DLC, she's getting a staff, which is amazing. It's gonna be fun to see how she plays with that. I would like to see her get some other range tool as well, because even though the tools are great that she has, they'll be fun to see them add other things that's interesting for the DLC. But the reason I bring this up is that nobody's talking about it, but Yasuke does not have a new weapon coming. And while he does have 2 range attacks, he doesn't have more tools than Nawe, and he has his 3 weapons, just like Nawe. So why isn't he getting a DLC weapon? From the moment that I'm making this video, they never announced that he will get his own DLC weapon. I do believe that that would be cool because it adds to this game. Here goes some ideas for the DLC and the skill trees. On top of the new bow skill tree that we're gonna get, if they can add new abilities and skills to buff up past 6, where this expands to 7, 8, and 9. As we know already, we got the secret skill trees for stats. This is just strictly to buff your stats. That's fine, but then just add more abilities to the side of this, where it's actually abilities to add some more fun to all the skill tree for both characters. It can be something that I can see them do to make the game more fun for the new DLC, plus whatever else they're adding to the experience, because they have a lot in the works. I would assume the game is very successful. Over 1 million people with under 24 hours while I'm making this just got announced. So that is pretty much it. And then like some general thoughts about my experience. Like I said, the traversal felt a little bit annoying because my horse would get stuck in certain areas, and I wasn't really happy about that. It was kind of annoying, but it's understandable that they wanted to make it harder to traverse in those areas, and I didn't mind it. But we have to have smoother systems, like I said, with the objectives and things like that, that can really make it a lot more fluid. There's people who basically didn't know they could just get Yasuke quick. I got him in about 2.5 hours, and other people in my first playthrough, it took me like 9-10 hours just to get him, because I was doing all the side quests, which is amazing. But like I said, if I was to stick to the main objectives, have something kind of guiding me that way, it would be a lot better. And I know that's something that some people say they don't want, and they want to have the immersive experience, which more power to you. But again, for those who want to just play the game again and not have to kind of like manage all that stuff. I think this is very important. When they make a new game plus or when the DLC comes out, they can do that. One of my biggest issues and one of the biggest things when it comes to this game that I want to talk about, this is probably the biggest one, and you know, you guys take it with a grain of salt or not. This is key. Again, this is for the developers, so share it with them. I don't care if anybody else watches. I literally don't care who watches it, except for the devs. But as you can see right here, I did every castle. There's nothing to do in these places. Those enemies are so weak. I just feel like I'm ramming through everything. I'm on expert and it doesn't feel challenging at all. Not saying I'm the best player. It's the game. The game got me powerful. Now I need another modified difficulty where all the enemies have extra attacks and you mix this up. There's a character in this game who calls for backup and throws mortars on your head. I need things like that. I need a person to shoot fire when they throw their bow and arrows. I need another one to make me bleed. I need the other one to do poison. We see them in some of the bosses, but we don't see them in regular enemies. So in the next difficulty for the new game plus, I would prefer that all the enemies start having these powers and these abilities and making it exaggerated, because it makes the game even more fun and challenging. We can do that with all these castles. Imagine replaying this with all those different buffs, and it's insane. Another thing that I like that I'm stealing from Rise of the Ronin is that after you beat the game, they put bosses in every location. They put 2, 3, sometimes even 4 different bosses. You can go to a shrine and there'll be bosses over there. You can go to a temple and there's bosses over there. And they're just from the story. It can be any boss that you fought already, and they'll be scattered all over the map. And it was such a fun time replaying the game, walking down the street and just going into a small area and there's some bosses in that area. And this is something that they can do to mix this up. And again, you can repeat the bosses and then again add every regular enemy with these extra buffs of element damage, and maybe mix up their attacks, let them call for reinforcements or mortars. Make it unpredictable, which is going to take this game to the next level and would be exciting. That's something that I've been holding on to the last breakdown of what I would want. Now, the biggest one when it comes to this stuff on combat that I talked about earlier is this stuff here. I feel like the weapons, after a while, you know, you're doing a charge attack, you're doing a combo, it feels the same for the most part, unless you switch it up and do the stuff that I do where I try to mix it up and get crazy with it. But I would love if you guys added a whole new, and this is reaching, but I'm gonna ask anyway since I'm already ranting here, for you to add different stances. So for example, another combo attack with this character. As you can see, when I do the light, this is what I do here. And then this one does heavy attacks. But what if I change the stance, right? The button press, and then she's doing a little more, you know, faster attacks, different combos, something that can just change it up so that we can have another way to play the game as we go forward. Take this guy out here. He's just bothering me. But so that is something that I would love to see, because I do believe that, you know, the replayability value can go up tremendously if you just change the combinations and give people a new combo system for the regular attacks. And then of course the skill tree, as I talked about earlier, take that to another level as well. But remember, the skills shouldn't be the main focus. This combat should be. And I do feel like this is some of the best combat we've had in years for Assassin's Creed. But once again, very limited. I want to do the charge attack, and then I'm going to go into some heavies and some lights. And there's a couple things I can do, and maybe even dash and slice. Fun stuff. But again, hundreds of hours in, I do feel like it can really change the game and do something special. Those are just some thoughts on combat. Again, we'll see. Now, another one, as you see, it's raining. If you beat the game, you should be able to change the weather, the time of day, and the season. So pretty much everything completely. So I can be able to press this D-pad to the right and then say I want it nighttime in the winter, snowstorm. And then that's all three things. Click that, I fast travel, and I automatically get that a beautiful change. That's something that I want, that I think the community deserves, because I love the game. Well, at least I do. And then we're good to go from there. Another big feature, that something that a lot of the community members were talking to me and asking me is, are the engravements able to switch weapons? And it looks like a lot of them do. I haven't got everything and I haven't checked through scanning this, but the conversation is about being able to swipe engravements from, let's say, the Tanto here, and I put it on the katana. And so if they can't, maybe go ahead and add that as a feature to allow anything to be anywhere, meaning even my chest piece, mix it up with my engravement from my chest piece, I can put it on my weapon. Just let us switch it all up, because then that makes even more builds and more fun for the DLC, for the new game plus. All right, that's another feature that I personally want. I've been telling the community I'm trying to test this and check, but it's a lot of work. I have too many other videos like this one that I'm making. But that's an idea, and that's just something that I personally feel very, very good about if we can get that going. Right? That's pretty much the whole rundown for the most part. There isn't a lot of other things that I want to get into, but yeah, hope that was helpful, and I hope it was exciting. Oh wait, forgot about one thing. So we know about this Animus, and the truth is, and here's a little feedback on this. Truth is, some people feel like this is just a rip-off, that they should have all this stuff in game. I get it. People want in-game stuff. I get that the developers want to push people to the Animus, and they want to create people to go into the store right after, right? So you can buy stuff and support the company that you're playing with. I don't mind this battle pass, but it doesn't really feel like these are worth it, right? We'll find out about this ability, but the rest of them don't feel very strong. Like, oh my god, I have to have this, and it's a must have. And maybe try to work on the engravements and have better engravements, because it is critical. Also, can you make the anomalies much harder? These I can do in under 15 minutes. I have multiple videos. I've done it 3 times already in the past 3 weeks. I've had the game for a long time, and all of them have been so easy. I've done them in under 15 minutes each. On top of that, you don't have enough time to buy everything with the resources that you get in a week. Sometimes I'll miss out, and I guess that's the point. You know, you want FOMO to happen, but I don't agree with that. I think that we deserve what we deserve. So you can work on that. That's going to make a world of a difference. Last but not least, there's no way to earn all of these things in game. We're here to support it if we love it. As I tell everybody, don't pay for nothing you don't want. You can see how I have some of these features from the battle pass. I'm curious if you can make it clear to everybody if in the long run we will be able to get every single piece of these, to be able to just share that information so that people can know. And I know that's probably like, I think I'm ending it right there, because I'm sure you're like, nope, we're not going to do that. We want people to buy them all and then realize they can get them for free later. But anyways, this is pretty much some of my feedback. I didn't want to go too long, but I ended up going 24 minutes, and this is a lot. For hopefully somebody can send this to the community manager, who's supposed to take notes, and then have a meeting with the developers and share this. Of course, you can give me credit. I would love that, but most of all, get most of these done. If you do them all, then you're the best. But I understand there's a budget and a time frame of what you can or can't do. As much of these is as important. Some of the first ones are quality of life, just to make the game even better than what it is. And I'm sure people are going to be mad about some of the stuff I talked about. All right, that's the breakdown. Thank you so much for your time and your energy. I hope you guys enjoyed. For everybody else that's on my community and watched it, I appreciate you, man. See y'all on that next one. Make sure you like and comment if you agree. with what you feel, or if you disagree and you want to see other things, feel free to put that all in the comments here. Okay?